You didn't expect to see this when you hit the play button, did you? Well, that's the point, because this stands out and you're wondering, why is this video sideways? Like, what's going on? See, that's what is called pattern interrupt, which is one of the 11 unique ways you can stand out as a realtor and really stand out from the masses of the real estate agents, the seas of real estate agents that we're gonna cover in this video. So why is this important? At this very second, there are thousands of real estate agents competing for the same exact listings that you want, and if you're not able to stand out, you're not able to differentiate yourself from this ocean of real estate agents effectively, you will disappear in the noise and you will be fighting an uphill battle to get new seller or buyer leads and real estate clients. Now, most real estate agents think that to differentiate, it's all about highlighting their years of experience, making creative images on Canva, creating email newsletters, all these types of things, or coming up with some sort of single catchy marketing slogan. And that most real estate agents often feel differentiation is this ambiguous concept. They can't really put a finger on, like, what is this? Like, what's going on, right? Now, in reality, differentiation and branding isn't really one thing that you do. It is a set of strategies and tactics that you use in your real estate marketing and sales, and as a result, you end up becoming very well known locally, amass a large database of leads that want to work with you specifically. So what I want to do today is to introduce you to what I call a PGH framework, because it allows you to easily understand how these 11 ways to stand out as a realtor come into play and how to use them so that you can walk away from this video with a clear game plan on exactly what to do. Now, PGH stands for planning, growing, and harvesting. When you think about getting new clients, new listings, new buyers, there's always a set of steps that people go through to end up working with you. Think about the local market you're in right now, the people in the local market. You've got all of these local people in your market that have no idea that you even exist. So what is the first thing that needs to happen for these people to get to work with you? Well, people have to be aware that you even exist in the first place, because otherwise they don't even know that you exist. They can't work with you. So we need to get into their awareness. We need to get to talk to them. We need to get in front of them. And that's exactly what we call planting. It is the action you take where, imagine it's kind of like you're planting strawberry seeds on an empty crow field in order to start the process, again, of getting the end results. These are the little seeds of thought in your real estate marketing that you create with the local people in their minds about you. Now, people being aware of you is not enough. It's not going to lead into them working with you. They also need to consider you as a viable choice for a realtor. They need to know why you're different. They need to know how your service works. What is their interest in your service in order to be interested in your service? So you've got to water and nourish these same strawberry seeds again and again and again in order for them to grow, turn into a strawberry, and then for you to be able to sell or eat the strawberry. And then when you do this, that's when you have people interested in working with you, reaching out to you, being engaged, and you're able to convert this interest into new real estate deals. It's kind of like that field of full, juicy, ripe strawberries, and you then harvest the crop and you enjoy the fruits of your labor. So first you plant, then you grow, and then you harvest. This is the foundation of sales and marketing you ever do, no matter what strategy you're using, whether that be traditional or social media. All the clients you work with until this point in your real estate career have gone through this exact same process, but also all of your future clients will go through the same exact 3 steps. And the key to understand is that the way you're differentiating yourself in these 3 stages is completely different from one to another. It's kind of like night and day. So how you stand out in a planning stage is not how you do it in a growing stage or harvesting stage or vice versa, which is why so many realtors end up confused, because look out, this real estate lead says I need to put in cheap houses, right? And they're like, okay, well, now I'm getting these leads, but they're like bad leads, right? What's going on? Like, how can it be different? And they think that, okay, I need to create another market report, or they think I need to create another this or that, right? So really, the stage of the process determines how you need to make yourself different and really the strategies you're even using. So let's break this down down and let's go deeper into this topic. Let's first talk about the planning part of it and really the beginning of a process. This is how you stand out at the starting stage of your marketing. Now, let's talk about the first differentiation method in the planning stage, which is focus on a niche. You already know you should have a niche, but do you really have one? You don't need me to tell you that it's very difficult for you to convince people that you're the best real estate agent for every type of situation and for every type of geographical area, right? It's just not going to happen realistically for 99.9% of the people. So you must have that niche in order to make your marketing more powerful. But how do you actually choose a niche? First of all, you want to consider your past experience. So what kind of clients have you had before? What kind of case studies do you have? What kind of skills do you have? What kind of houses have you already sold before, right? That's going to allow you to easily show people, okay, I've worked with this and this type of client before. I worked in this area, I've sold these houses. So obviously it's going to make your marketing a lot easier. The second thing you want to look at is your personal interests. So what kind of clients would you like to be working with if that would be the only client type you can work with for the next 10 years? Also, when you look at market resonance, are you on the same wavelength as that client avatar, that niche you have? Would you find it easy to just vibe with them as a friend? Would you take them to a restaurant, maybe for a beer, maybe to play golf, whatever you like to do, right? Would the client do that with you if there is no real estate transaction at all? Also look at market trends. So market activity in terms of what segment of the market has a lot of activity now and also growing in the future. Now, if you're in a market where there's a lot of people that are, as an example, moving up, obviously you don't want to go for a niche that's, let's say, moving down, right? If there's a lot of people that are moving up, but nobody is really downsizing, right? You want to obviously focus more on the moving up side of things if it's easily adjustable for you. Now, the fifth thing you want to look at is the client acquisition method preference. This is something I can't highlight enough. If you want to generate clients through physical sales and marketing like door-to-door, cold calls, mailers, networking, define your niche through a geographical area, right? You pick a zip code, you become the expert for this neighborhood, so on and so forth. Now, the same exact thing applies to online marketing. If you want to generate clients through online marketing, define your niche by the similarities in life transformations, by the people going through different things, right? So as an example, let's say you're targeting downsizers, you really want to look into, okay, I'm here in this local area and there's all these people living in that would maybe downsize their home at some point in time. What are those common scenarios? Meaning, okay, this is the current situation, right? This is where they're in right now. Maybe their kids moved away, they lived in the same house for 20 years, and okay, now they have too large of a home, their mortgage is high, there's not a lot of money left at the end of the month, all these expenses that need to be paid up. So, okay, this is the current situation, these are the problems, all and so on and so forth. And okay, the desire is that they want to live closer to their children, they want to have more money so they can do more things, so on and so forth, left at the end of the month, right? So we have this current situation and we have this desired situation, and then there's obviously this gap in between, which is your service. So when you create your marketing online, you want to look at that, okay, this is the current situation, okay, I help people move from this type of a home, move into this type of a home. So I help people sell and move to a smaller home, will be kind of like the current situation and desired situation, but really in the middle, you want to look at the psychological and life transforming things that are happening in the people's lives. So when you create your content, it's going to target those specific areas. Now, once you have a niche, create a statement that describes who your service is for and put it up in your bios everywhere. So for example, you could say something like, I help homeowners in Houston downsize to their forever home. Now, the second differentiation pillar you want to look at the planning stage will be choosing the right playing field. Now, your niche determines where, when, and how you should do your marketing when it comes down to the planning stage. If you want to grow strawberries, you can't just start planting apple tree seeds on the field, right? If you want strawberries, that's not going to happen. So you've got to think, okay, these are the people I want to target, these are the people I want to attract. What are all the different ways I can get into their awareness at scale with my marketing? Now, how are they spending their time? Can I best target them on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, mailers, emails? Do I do organic marketing or do I run paid advertising? And you need to analyze these opportunities and get clear on what is the best way to get in front of these people with the most volume in the easiest and most profitable way possible. Now, the third differentiation pillar at the planning stage will be capturing attention with hooks and pattern interrupts. So you start putting out your marketing on the right platforms at the right time in the right way, but then how do we get people to actually start looking at your content in the first place? When someone sees your posts, whether that be YouTube, Facebook posts, email, postcards, etc., whatever the platform you're using, do we get someone to look at it, start consuming it, or are they just ignoring it or doesn't even show up in the first place? Well, here we're not just differentiating from other realtors, we need to differentiate from everyone else because your posts are competing against all of these content pieces that these homeowners are consuming. You have around 2 seconds to grab someone's attention. Let's say they see a post from you on social media, an ad from you on social media, whether it be a post or a video, and in the first 2 seconds, if they don't get interested to hear from more, you're gonna lose them right from the start. They're gonna go to the next post. So this is where the hooks and the pattern interrupts come in. Now use hooks. This is the very first thing that you verbally say in your marketing that sparks curiosity and sets expectations for what's about to come. So for example, you're watching this video titled How to Differentiate as a Realtor. This is the hook and it probably got you interested because you're still watching this video so that you could figure out the answer to the question that I brought up in that headline because you thought this would benefit you by knowing this. Now, second thing you want to look at is your pattern interrupts. Use pattern interrupts. These are the things that you do that go against of what is expected with something unexpected or distinctive. For example, this video started out with me being sideways. You probably were not expecting me to be sideways because we're on YouTube and usually on YouTube videos are full screen. And it probably got you kind of tilted in your mind like, hey, wait a second, like what's going on here? Why were we like this, right? And it got you to pay attention to the video itself. And that exactly is an example of pattern interrupt. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy, but it got your attention and you're still watching this video. Now, let's talk about the fourth differentiation pillar in the planning stage, which is play to the biases of the algorithm, but also the mind. Once we have people's attention, your ideal clients are looking at your marketing. Now we have the time that, okay, now we can talk to these people and we need to understand the levers we need to pull to get as many people as possible to see that marketing piece and consume it and eventually want to work with you. On social media, the content that gets the most views and traction is content that people want to consume and enjoy consuming. The algorithm looks at the data of how long people watch your videos for on average. How long did people spend time looking at your post? Did they like it? Did they comment on it? Did they share it? Based on this, it will then push out your content to more and more people. And so the only thing you need to really worry about is whether or not the content you're putting out is something that local homeowners, local people in your area actually want to consume, something they enjoy they consume. So this is where most real estate agents go wrong with the real estate marketing. They put out stuff that looks like advertising or just sold, just listed, or just call to actions. And it's just taking value from people without giving them anything in return. And because of that, it's a little bit of needy and obviously not something we really want. So you don't want your marketing to look like marketing. It should look native to the platform that you're using. And you need to give people value, something people really can find useful, something people can get out of your content. Whether it be practical information to improve people's lives, or also it can be just entertainment. It can actually be emotions, making them feel good, making them feel inspired. Remember, that is also value. It is not just only information alone. Then as you get people to first start consuming your content and then actually keep them watching, now you have your first real chance to differentiate as a real estate agent. This is where what's called the one restaurant effect comes into play. It's a psychological phenomenon that happens when there are many things in front of us that look the same. The thing that's drastically different gets noticed. Let's say there's 20 circles and 19 of them are white, but one is red. You're gonna notice the red one. So think about how the typical real estate agent shows up in their marketing. What does it look like? What does the person look like? How do they speak? What's their personality like? Think of the stereotypes of real estate agents. You want to break down that pattern, distinguish yourself from it, and be that circle that is red instead of white. Maybe it's the way you look. Maybe it's the format of content you're creating. Maybe it is the values you hold on your personal level, or maybe it's the way you present your content. Maybe it's an aspect of your personality that just amplify to really make yourself stand out. Okay, so let's recap the planning phase. You pick a niche, then you choose the right playing field to target that niche. You put out marketing content that captures people's attention, keeps them watching, and in the process, you make yourself memorable and visibly different from other agents through the one restaurant effect. So now we're planting a lot of seeds in the crop. Next, we got to nurture and water the seeds so the strawberries can really start growing and get ready to be harvested. Now, you've got your ideal clients looking at your content again and again and again. Maybe they're reading your emails, maybe they're watching you on Instagram, maybe they're watching your videos on YouTube, or they're following you on any of these platforms. Or maybe you're retargeting them with your content with social media advertising. And now they start to look at your stuff again and again and again. So how do we then stand out and differentiate and really turn these people into warm listing appointments so we can start to work with them in order to sell their houses? That leads us into the growing stage of the PGH framework. So the differentiation method number 5 in this PHG process will be joining the narrative in the people's minds. Think about how people who are thinking about buying or selling a house right now feel about real estate. List out the concerns they currently have, the anxieties they currently have, and create the content you do right now around those things that are happening right now. Now, do this sincerely and actually tell like it is. Don't just sugarcoat it, tell it like it is. This is going to build trust and it's going to set you apart and have a real conversation with local people, and don't try to convince that it's always the best time to sell or buy in every single situation, because obviously it is frankly not. Now, the 6th differentiation pillar in this process is going to be called the halo effect. This is a cognitive bias where perception of one quality, like a well-designed website or a high-profile property listing, influences the perception of other qualities like the agent's competence. Now, in other words, you want to appear high quality everywhere. If people Google you, what comes up? When people look at your social media profile, what does it look like? Because one of these things, if it looks bad, it can actually cause people to drop off. Imagine you have an amazing real estate agent, you get a referral, and then somebody Googles that real estate agent and their website looks like it's from 2001, right? It's gonna make it feel like, okay, this realtor maybe doesn't know social media, or maybe don't understand internet, right? It's gonna create that objection in the people's mind. But if a person has multiple agents looking at this real estate agent, maybe they have a bad website. Maybe this website looks pretty good, but it's kind of like average. It's very similar to the other realtors they've thought about. But this real estate agent stands out. It's a high-tier website. There's testimonials, there's videos, real estate agents communicating directly to their needs, pains, and desires. This agent stands out because of this effect. Obviously, this is going to be the person they want to go with if all the other factors remain the same. So create that with your marketing and make that happen every single place people go to, whether it be your Facebook profile, whether it be your YouTube channel, whatever you're doing online, make sure that it's done really, really well, because at the end of the day, we're talking about one client, it could be $10,000, $20,000. So you can extrapolate that throughout years. It's a massive, massive amount of money you can make or you can lose. Now, let's talk about the 7th way to differentiate yourself as a real estate agent. That's going to be a social proof. This is the easiest, most powerful way to differentiate yourself. Now, the reason why this is the easiest possible way is because people trust social proof. When you see somebody else than the person trying to sell you the thing say that, hey, this thing is awesome, you're much more likely to believe it. Now, another reason why it's the easiest way to do marketing is just because it's so easy. You have clients, you're working with buyers, you're working with sellers, you have these people, you're doing it anyway. So all you just need to do is just ask them, just say, hey, is it cool if I share this on my social media? Hey, is it cool that I share, our story here, we sold your house, we got an amazing price for it, right? Is it cool that if I make a quick video with you and record it on YouTube? And most of the times, people are very happy to do these things. They actually let you do it, but you just need to ask for permission. You just need to be doing it. Now, in terms of how you do it, there's multiple different ways. First of all, you can get a picture and you can tell a story and post that on your Facebook, Instagram, and text and picture-based platforms like LinkedIn. That is probably the easiest way. Second stage after that could be something like referrals on steroid strategy, which I've covered on my previous videos, where you get them to post a post on their profiles so they make referrals for thousands and thousands of people that are already on their friend lists. Obviously, there's video testimonials, so on and so forth, but the main point is just to use social proof as much as possible. That's a massive differentiator, and even nobody else is really doing this properly. People just have Canva pictures or something like that. Now, 8th way you can stand out as a real estate agent and 8th differentiation pillar is going to be authority. This is another easy way to stand out just by being seen as an expert advisor. Kind of how I talked earlier, most real estate agents actually position their services as a sales service, meaning that they post just listed, just sold, and they really just try to sell people, and that's fine, but you're positioning yourself as a salesperson. Now, if you really want to stand out, obviously we need to be seen not as a salesperson, but as an expert, somebody who knows the market, knows the local areas, and has the best possible way of selling or buying the house that people want to do. Now, in terms of how you do this, you want to basically show people that you understand their situation better than they understand themselves, and you can help them to achieve whatever their dream goal is with their lives and lifestyles. So this comes down to the videos you create, the content you create, different marketing pieces you do. Make sure that you show people. Maybe you show people that, okay, I know these things about the local area. I know these best restaurants. I know these best areas. I know how the market is shifting right now. Right now, market is going this way or that way. And this is what the numbers mean for you. Because remember, what I mentioned to you earlier, an expert shows people that they understand their situation better than they understand themselves, meaning they also understand that just putting up numbers there doesn't really do anything for the homeowners. They won't get the numbers. You need to be able to tell them what the numbers mean and how that's going to impact, again, their housing situation, whether they be buying or selling a house or the future value of the homes. Now, let's talk about the 9th differentiation pillar, and that is going to be likability bias. Most people, most real estate agents only talk about real estate, and really they look like business on social media. And this is what happens all the time. People start to work with us or they want to work with us and they're like, okay, I have this Facebook business page. I need to grow this Facebook business page, like my personal profile, like, I don't know, I don't want to use that. I just want to use the business page, right? If you want to establish real, meaningful relationships through your marketing, you must make the homeowner feel like you're on the same wavelength about life as them. A lot of times, real estate agents want to have this real estate identity. They have this suit on, they have the houses, they have their company, and they think that, okay, this is all I need to do as a real estate agent. I'm a real estate agent, I have these houses, and I have my company. Remember, the goal with your online marketing is to get thousands of local homeowners to consider you to be their #1 real estate advisor friend. Even if your real estate service is exactly the same as all the other realtors, if your personality, who you are as a human being, your values, your beliefs resonate with the homeowner more than the other real estate agents, you will have an edge simply based on that. And this is something people rarely consider, but at the end of the day, people are going to be driving in cars with you, they're going to be looking at houses with you, or they'll be selling their house with you. You will meet them live. You're going to go to their house in order to sell their house. So in psychology, this is what's called the likability bias. It means that we're more likely to do business with people who are similar to us. So like attracts like. And in real estate, this is one of the most powerful ways for you to get business. So as an example, 33% of listings go just based off referrals, according to National Association of Realtors. That tells you relationships are the most important piece of overall marketing process. Now, let's recap the growing phase. You want to join the narrative in the homeowners' minds. You want to show halo effect, use social proof, build authority, build those relationships, build those likability biases in the people's minds, because these are extremely powerful ways to differentiate yourself. And by using this, you start opening doors for one-on-one conversations that leads into new real estate clients. Now, whether that's a form of call to actions you're doing in your content, or getting people to reach out to you from a lead form for more information, or whether that's your team proactively reaching out to people who have shown interest or signaled interest before in terms of buying or selling, this is going to lead us into the final stage of the process, where we've now grown a lot of ripe strawberries and it is time for us to harvest them. So when it's time to harvest them, how do we do it? How do we seal that deal? how do we differentiate ourselves at that exact moment when it's time to go. Let's talk about the harvesting part of the differentiation pillars. Let's talk about the 10th way you can differentiate yourself as a real estate agent. So differentiation pillar number 10, which is going to be to turn your home selling process into a proprietary methodology. Look at your service process and ask yourself, why is this process the best process for my ideal clients to get their optimal outcome with their homes that they really want? What is unique about the way I service my clients that does this? Then turn it into a repeatable, systematic methodology. Step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this, step 4 is this. So get clear on what the method you have is, and then give it a proprietary name that can spark curiosity. It can be something like the diamond method or the pillow method, whatever you want to name it as. After you have named it, you want to make sure that you educate people on why it is important to do the things you do in your methodology to get the optimal outcome. So create a resource, whether it be a video or a guide, that explains the backstory of your method, why it works so well, the proof that other people have used it, and what it does for people. What are the outcomes people are going to get? Now this leads us into the 11th differentiation pillar, which is making an irresistible offer, a promise of a result and removal of risk. Now for sellers, example of this would be we'll sell your house or we'll buy it ourselves. A buyer example would be something like buy a house with us. If you're not happy with it, we'll buy it back and sell it for free. Now you can then also tie this together with your proprietary methodology. Make the offer as a part of that research you put together, where you explain it in a 10-minute video, again, or a PDF, anything like that. And then when you're setting listing appointments, send this over to people before you meet with them in person and have them go through it in advance. This way, you eradicate many of the objections that you may be getting right now. And because the last thing you want to do is just go on a listing appointment and get people to tell you, well, how are you different? Or I have this cousin who's a real estate agent and they only get 1%, right? Whatever the case may be, these types of objections usually come up because there's not enough desire in your method. There's not enough desire for people to work with you specifically. So that's why when you create a resource like this, when you do these differentiation pillars, it's going to make a massive difference both on how many clients you're able to attract on the front end, but also what kind of quality conversations you're actually having when you meet people in person. So when you do these steps correctly, the last thing you will ever hear on your listing appointment is, how are you different?